All right, how y'all doing, world? This Coach Corey from the Big Chair Chess Club. Here to give you a quick chess 101 lesson. This is just the first of many lessons that we're going to do here. We just want to give you the fundamentals of the game of chess, but we also want to tie in real principles that the game of chess has with real life. For me, I just want to give you a quick background. So I'm actually the president of Big Chair Chess Club, and I actually started playing the game of chess when I was in the first grade. And so now, I get to give the great gift of the game of chess back. And chess just helped me in so many different ways. It just helps you become a better thinker. It just helps you think of the many different obstacles that happen in life. You just learn how to pivot. And that's what we're going to really talk about as far as like tying in the game of life with the game of chess. So just let me start with the basics real quick. So the game of chess is played on what look like a checkerboard, in my opinion. It does have light and dark squares, but we don't play with checker pieces. We play with the chess pieces right here. And each chess piece is unique because they have their own special way of moving. Just like you have your own special way of moving in life, you right? You are your own individual. You're unique within your own self, even if you are an identical twin. You have your own uniqueness, and as you're going to see with the chessboard, you do have identical twins that you're going to be working with as far as your pieces, right? But the uniqueness of each piece goes into its functionality as far as how it moves, right? Each piece is going to move a little bit differently in order to achieve the goal of trying to what we call checkmate in the game of chess. But aside from checkmate in the game of chess, there's checkmate in the game of life, right? And it doesn't have to be a bad thing all the time. You can checkmate the opportunity that you are seeking. Well, you can checkmate that promotion that you was going after. You could checkmate whatever goals that you set for yourself, right? So checkmate can be a positive thing, but also checkmate can also be that negative thing to where you make a bad decision, and you checkmate yourself by costing yourself time, or maybe you costing yourself money, or maybe you causing your family to miss out on your presence. It's a many different ways to look at checkmate, but we just want to just bring out the positives, the negatives, and how you can just strengthen yourself to be able to be armed um, in the battle that life has for us, because ultimately we trying to checkmate life. So with that being said, the game of chess, I said, is played on what's a checkerboard, but this is made up of 64 squares. The difference between the checkers and the chessboard is that a chessboard actually has alphabets and it has numbers on there. And the reason why we do that is because we actually notate our games in the game of chess to go back over the games to see what we could do better. And that's a powerful thing because reviewing our mistakes, reviewing and going back and reflecting on what we could have done better in a situation leads to that self-awareness, leads to that self-growth, and it helps with our self-identity, right? And that's what the game of chess really brings out is how do you identify yourself? And I noticed that, the game of chess shows how a person actually thinks based off of how they move. And beginners really don't notice when we start playing the game of chess and we going through the basics. They don't really understand that I can get a sense of how they think or what type of player they are, if they're aggressive, if they're defensive. So those are some type of characteristics that you can see out of people when you sit down and play the game of chess. Because chess is unique and it has its own language. So you don't even have to speak the same language, but you can speak the same language over the chessboard and get to know somebody's personality and how they are and how they think just by how they play. So that's the one powerful piece that the game has taught me, and I hope that, you know, imparted something on you. So just getting back to it real quick, before all my time is up. There's 64 squares on the chessboard. There's different patterns on the chessboard. So the different patterns, we have horizontal patterns for going this way on the chessboard. I'm not going to do all of them for time's sake, but we have horizontal patterns. We have vertical patterns up and down the chessboard. And then we also have diagonals going up and down the chessboard. And so it's going every which way. And I know it looks kind of crazy right now, but so I'm going to make it a little simpler for you. So if you are in school, you might have seen this before. And this you might be able to identify with as a right angle, right? In math, we see right angles. It's a 90-degree angle. So this is powerful if you think about how the game of chess also relates to geometry, you know, coordinates. If you think about it, if you look at the bottom row, this could be the x coordinates and these could be the y coordinates, right? So it's different ways that you could think about a game of chess to correlate it to life to help you improve and just your thought process, right? It's just about pattern recognition. In the game of chess, we can help you with your pattern recognition and how you identify with things in life. So, boom. So you got your right angle, right? Let me just go over the pieces real quick. So we have rooks, which is, we call them castles. So castles actually back in the day were chariots. Originally, when the game of chess was started or founded, many people say that the game of chess, through research and stuff, was started in India. So I'm just going to flow with that. But the great game of chess was first the rook was the actual chariot, because the game of chess was a game of war back in the day and a game of strategy. And it was a game of kings. So kings played it back in the day, right? So these are our chariots or our rooks. And then we have our knights. I forget what they were back in the day, but I like to say our horses still. That's what they were pretty much anyway. They're our horses. So they're very unique. They ride around the castle all day, or the horse rides around on the chariot all day, right? Or carries the chariot. And then you have our bishops, right? So our bishops, they are our spiritual advisors. They are the closest to the king and queen because they give spiritual advice. For this piece, I believe it was an elephant back in the day, was the actual first chess piece for the bishop. They were actually elephants. I think of an elephant as an animal that has, I don't think they forget anything or something like that. They have the best memory out of any animal. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be totally wrong on that. But please fact check me. But these are our bishops. So we went over the rook, our chariots, our knights, which are our horses, and our bishops, which is our elephants. Then we got the king and we got the queen. So we got the queen here and we got the king. And I know this looks crazy because you're like, well, what goes on this side? Well, obviously you could probably fill that in, right? We're going to set it up the same way as we set it up on this side, right? Because the king has his own army and the queen has her own army, right? So a jingle that we got from our good guy Tunde from Chess in the Slums of Africa, he said, rook, knight, bishop, rook, knight, bishop, king and queen, and then lastly our pawns go in the front. So now you've learned how to set up a chessboard, and follow us for the second video because we got a lot more to share. But this is going to be your starting position, and remember those great things that the fundamentals of chess teaches and correlates back to life. I'll see y'all soon. Thanks for watching. Follow Big Chair Chess Club.